Imagine if we approached our entire business model from a human to human focus. How would that change? How would that change the way you show up to your customer's house when you knock on the door? Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Sales Made Simple podcast. Broadcasting here from the beautiful Pocono Mountains here in Pennsylvania. And you know what? I had something on my mind I wanted to share, and it's something that came up yesterday actually in a meeting, and it really helped with some clarity for me. And I wanted to share it with you guys. You know, we often think of ourselves in the outdoor living, hardscape, and landscape world as a B2C style business framework. You know, you've got B2B, which is, business to business. If you're selling your services or products to another business, or if you're B2C, you're selling as a business to a consumer. And that's how we see, most see our industry. We see it as a B2C engagement. We're a business, we're kind of transacting with a consumer. And, we set up systems and processes around all of that B2C model. And with that model, there's always a bit of a gap between the business, the entity that's generating the income and then providing the service, and the consumer, the end receiver of said service. And, when you have that B2C mindset, I'm a business, they're a consumer, there can easily be a slippery slope into each customer is just another opportunity for revenue, right? My business needs revenue, so each customer represents if you will, a breathing checkbook that can write me checks for my project. So when we have that kind of mentality of thinking, man, like each of these, I just need more work. I just need more people to call. I need more leads. I need more revenue. And we see each customer in that B2C model as that opportunity, the nail for your hammer, right? Looking for them each and every day. How can I get more leads? How can I grow my business by selling more stuff? And if that's ultimately what's deep in your heart, and if you're being honest with yourself, and that's true, then this episode is going to be for you. I was in a meeting yesterday with my master plan team, and Becky, director of operations, she was talking about a book she was reading. It's called Giftology. She was talking about a book, and she's like, they talk in there about this whole idea of not B to C, but H to H. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, H to H. Human to human. Imagine thinking, instead of your business model being so much B to C, business to consumer, like there's some kind of a gap between them. What if we're just all humans helping other humans? What if we are just humans serving other humans? We just have to do it in our gifts, right? Our gifts of being able to build really cool backyards, or be able to design them, or be able to manage the projects to fruition. Imagine if we approached our entire business model from a human to human focus. How would that change? How would that change the way you show up to your customer's house when you knock on the door? How would that change the way you interact with them on the phone? How would that change the way that you see everything in your business, its entire purpose, your entire mission? Think about this, listeners. Think about this. If you shift from the old traditional model of B2C into an H to H model, relationship becomes primary. And what would you do? How much time would you spend if you knew that building a relationship wouldn't just be far more profitable for you in the short term, but would actually be far more lucrative emotionally and financially in the long term, when it comes to referrals, when it comes to future work, when it comes to not having to go out and pound the streets trying to find the next job, when you did such a great job and helped your customer feel something when they worked with you on the last project, that they're telling all their friends about how you were amazing, how your company treated them really well, and how they really, really want to refer you to other people. Like, they can't stop talking about you. Have you ever had one of those clients that you did a really good job for, and they're sending all their friends your way, whether it's for a small $1,000 project or a little bit larger project, 10,000, let's say, or even a big project over $100,000? Have you ever had a client that they stand on top of their house and they scream to all their neighbors, you got to hire these guys, they're incredible? Have you ever had in the past? If you're listening and thinking, you know what, I've never had a client do that before. Well, there's a clue. There's a clue right there. If you've never had a client do that for you before, stand on top of the rooftop, figuratively, not actually. That'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it? Think about what could you do in your business to help make that possible, right? That's a reciprocity, which means you've added more value to the relationship. Back to relationship, not just revenue. We added so much value during the time you were connected to that client doing that project, that you added so much value that they felt the need to go above and beyond what they would normally do, which is just sign a check or give you cash or give you a credit card so you can move on to the next project. They felt so moved by the time you spent with them and how you helped them feel amazing and important that they actually do, again, reciprocity. That means they're going to go above and beyond. They're going to feel like they need to still do something for you even after they paid you. That does not happen, listeners. That does not happen in a business transaction. That does not happen when your focus is, how can I get this done quickly today so I can move on to the next one tomorrow and keep asking for checks. That only happens when you slow it down and you focus on customer experience and you focus on the customer's needs first. Revenue follows after that. So this whole concept of this H to H can absolutely profoundly shift the way that you do business. If you focus on your not how can I buy the next piece of equipment to make me more efficient, even though you may need that, I get that. But if your focus is how can I help my customers have even a better experience with my company? How can I do that? How can I take what I'm doing now? Because I'm sure, if you're listening to podcasts, you are in a growth mindset, and that is incredible. Most of the guys that are out there and ladies that are out there that don't want to grow and just want to kind of grind things out, they're the ones that are in a fixed mindset, meaning, yeah, I don't really feel like growing, or I already know everything. I don't need any help, right? That's a fixed mindset. But a growth mindset, that kind of person is like you, listening to podcasts, reading books, listening to YouTube videos, whatever it takes to learn so you can grow, so you can serve more people. So I challenge you, listeners. I challenge you guys. Think about your business right now. How much would it take for you to focus more on relationships than revenue? How much would it take to slow your sales process down to a point where you're focused directly on what the customer needs, wants, and desires, not just what you can provide them? Let me say that again. How can you slow it down to really get deep into what your customer needs, wants, and desires, not just offer them the solution that you think they might need or what they think they need and they tell you that they need? What if you slowed it down and actually dug in and made sure that really was true? What if you gained evidence to know that the solution that they offer you, that 10 by 16 patio that they need, is really the right choice for them? Imagine if you could be that voice for them. Imagine if you could be the guide, knowing that they may think that 10 by 16 is the right size, but perhaps it's not. Maybe it's too big. Maybe it's too small based on what they need it to do. When we focus on an H to H model, human to human model, we show up with compassion and empathy, and we actually try to solve the problem in a way that's going to best suit our clients' long-term needs. We can't do that if we're racing job to job. We can't do that if we're focused on every client if they can fog a mirror and they can write a check, they're a client for you. That doesn't happen in those times. It doesn't happen in those engagements. Those are transactions, and those will come and go, and you will always struggle to get more of them. But when you slow it down, listeners, when you slow it down and your focus is on building relationships, taking the time to get to know the client, building rapport, understanding what they truly need, want, desire, why they're doing this project, what's so important about it for them, what their long-term goals are. Is this their forever home? Are they planning on dying here? Are they planning on retiring somewhere else? What kind of time horizon are we talking about? You can guide your clients to the best solutions. And when you do, you become a trusted partner in that relationship. And that trusted partner is allowed access to the keys to the kingdom. They're allowed access to ideas and thoughts that clients would never open up to your standard contractor experience for. So the challenge is, take a look at your business and how would it change, or how much more work would it be for you to simply humanize your clients and not make them walking checkbooks in your mind? If you slowed it down a little bit and said, okay, how can I better connect with my customers? And maybe, hey, I started out in this world almost 30 years ago. I was socially awkward as heck. Like I really didn't do well with communication, believe it or not. I did not enjoy talking to a lot of people. I probably enjoyed talking to 3 people, right? I love working with my hands, but I wasn't a social person. You would not consider me someone that's going to be the life of the party. I was usually the quiet guy. And you know what? I found that that is a very selfish way to focus on life, is just kind of being quiet in the corner when God's provided us such beautiful skills and gifts in order to go out and serve and to help. And so I challenge you to listen inside and to look outside to how you can integrate for a more fulfilling experience in business, to serve clients, to get to know them, to build relationships, not just streams of revenue. This H to H model solves that problem. It shifts it from your head to your heart. And when you live from your heart, listeners, everything gets better. Everything. More joy, more love, more peace, less stress, less overwhelm, less frustration. So, my hope today is that somebody out there listening thinks, wait a minute here. Perhaps I'm looking at this whole business thing backwards. Perhaps if I focused on building relationships with my customers, I would be able to build a much stronger, more resilient, profitable business that I'm excited to get up every morning and go to, because I'm not just chasing money to pay bills. I'm changing people's lives, not just in the backyard, but emotionally as well. Think about how many clients are looking for somebody out there. So many homeowners are looking for somebody out there just to build something in their backyard. But when they stumble across somebody who cares, who actually wants to have a relationship with them, who actually digs deeper and finds the true nature of why they're doing this project and what it needs to look and feel like to be successful, and what a budget might look like, all before they ever start penning any kind of ideas or designing on their computers any ideas. Imagine how you stand out. Imagine how your client sees significant increase in value in your offering versus the other 3 guys or 2 guys that showed up and just said, how much you got? What do you want? The typical contractor experience. Imagine how much you stand out without having to spend a nickel more on advertising. Not a nickel. This is an approach. So if you guys out there listening are willing to do that, you will see a shift in your business. That I'll guarantee. It might be uncomfortable at first. You might have a lot of negative talk in your head because it's something new and different. And, I got in the business to make money, and you'll have all these kinds of negative thoughts. I can't do this. I'm not very social. I'm not good at talking like this. I don't like building relationships. Like all that crap will go through your head. It does for a lot of us. But trust me, if you stick with this and you work through that head trash and you find the gratitude in each and every day of serving people, it'll change the way you show up each day. It'll make this whole business thing so much more exciting, so much more fulfilling, so much more joyful. So if you guys need help with this, and you need help with trying to figure out how to start a process like this, if this conversation today has struck a chord in your heart, reach out to us. Reach out to me. You can book a call. You can see it in the show notes below. I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing currently and how you can increase your connectivity, your relationships with your customers, so they can be the ones on the roof singing your praises. The reciprocity that comes from over delivering is incredible. And the crazy thing is, listeners, it doesn't mean that you have to over deliver in a sense of spend more money than the project is worth. It's not a money thing. This is how present you are, how you're showing up, and how you're focusing on making your client feel like the only client you have right now. And when they feel that difference, when they know that you're in it to win it with them, everything changes. So go down to the show notes, book a call. Love to talk to you about how to integrate this in your business and make a lot more money and build a lot better relationships and cut the stress and overwhelm out of your life, all with this simple shift. Thanks for listening, guys.